Thanks for joining me today, guys, on this run of the Traxxas TRX4 with the LC70 body. It's going to be a quick run just to see how well it does on these new rock formations that they've put on, that they've installed in the park near my house. So I don't know if this rig is quite suitable for this kind of rock crawling, but I guess we'll see. I took the D90 and the D110 out here earlier and they did fairly good. The D90 did a little bit better because it's short wheelbase. I didn't get much video of that, so I do apologize, but we'll see how good this does. I don't think it's going to make it up or down that bit of rock ledge there, so I'm going to give it the hand of God because I don't want to do damage to this body, as it is a hard body, so it will do damage if it drops that height. So excuse me for that. I'm on low gear at the moment, using no diff locks at present. So at the moment the diffs are unlocked. I guess the beauty about the TRX4 Premium Edition is that you can lock and unlock the diffs, as most of you who own the TRX4 rig would know. As much as it is a wank factor for a lot of the veterans out there who run only locked diffs or rigs with locked diffs because they think it's just too much hassle to have extra servos and stuff. Well, I run those rigs as well, and my only answer to that is, I guess, it's personal preference really, but I would also say move with the times, because they do actually have they are actually a good feature to have, to be able to lock and unlock the diffs, because if you're like me and you run your rig indoors, especially on carpet, it's just a lot easier to turn to have a better steering radius with unlocked differentials as it would be without. So I guess I'm not going to say I'm surprised with the performance of the TRX4, because I always knew that it's a very good performer. Especially ever since I changed the steering servo in this. I no longer use Power HD servos. I am washing my hands of Power HD steering servos, for that matter, guys, not the diff lock servos. So diff lock servos, being that they don't do much, they just basically lock and unlock the diffs and switch the transmission from first gear to second gear or low gear to high gear. They're pretty good. But when it comes to steering servos, I was using the LW25MG. The first LW25MG failed on me on this rig here around about 3 months ago, so I bought another one to give them another shot. I guess there aren't many $80 Australian dollar 25 kilogram high voltage waterproof servos out there, but the second one lasted me 3 months and it just blew up on me today. It just burnt out on me today. I installed that in the D90 Galande RC 4-wheel drive, and you would think that on a rig like that it shouldn't have failed, because it only weighs 4 kilos, so it wasn't even that heavy. The TRX4, I thought, being it was a lot heavier, this rig here weighs around 6.7 kilograms, just like my D110. I expected it to fail, I guess, in the end, because I thought, well, it's a heavy rig, and you know, even though it's rated at 25 kilograms, I just thought it was a little bit too heavy for that servo. But I think they have a fail rate of 3 or 4 months, the Power HD servos, and I really hate to say it, but no, I really do not recommend them. I highly do not recommend them. They are a servo that's bound to fail, and I don't know what your experiences are on Power HD servos, but I've just blown my second one today, and I use it basically as I'm driving this now, not even heavy driving, just, you know, a little bit of trailing, a little bit of, you know, crawling or climbing, not even hard climbing. This isn't anywhere near what you know, a lot of veteran crawlers would actually do. They put their crawlers through a lot of more of a hard time than I am right now. So the only problem with having a heavy rig is side hilling is not very good on them. But for the better part, it's doing very well, as you guys can see. It's actually performing very good. I'm going to activate my diff locks now because I just think it will perform a little bit better with diff locks on. Only because it's on a side hill stance. If it was flat surface, I don't think the diff locks would really have much of a positive gain, but because it was on a side hill there, diff locks make a very good addition because you've got all four wheels spinning at the same rate. But those that are not familiar with this rig, I'm running Proline 90mm big bore suspension at the front and Team Rafico 70mm dual rate springs and dual rate suspension at the back. I'm also running RC 4-wheel drive stamped beadlock steel wheels on KM3 BF Goodrich 1.9 by 4.19 class 1 Proline tyres in the Predator compound. So the soft compound. And they are a fantastic tyre, especially for trailing like this. They've got very good grip. They are actually rated as a mud TA or mud terrain. And you know, whether you use them for mud or not, which I haven't yet, I think they are a very good all-rounder. They also look very scale, which is another factor of, you know, the reason why I actually give them a good recommendation. As for the TRX4, well, guys, I've owned this now for 9-10 months. It hasn't had an easy life, I can tell you that right now. Out of all my rigs, I don't abuse it, but I do not treat it with kid gloves. I do actually give it a hard time sometimes, and I can tell you right now, it's held up. I have not replaced any gears, haven't replaced anything on it. In fact, apart from the upgraded stuff that I've done on it, I haven't replaced anything else. So nothing has actually broken on it. I am using an AX 550 3300 kV motor, and I always utilize the 3-cell lipos, whether it's the Gens Ace or the Envision 3S 2245C. And it just, yeah, the AX 550 on the 3-cell lipos is ballistic. It's too fast, too powerful for what you really need. I mean, I'm not using anywhere near 100% setting at the moment. It's set to probably 60% forward speed and around about 50% reverse. So it's all the speed I want, and it's all the speed I need on the motor to keep it scale. But as you guys can see, it is trailing very nicely. Albeit this isn't really what you would call a scale trail, it is a park. So it's not something that, you basically say that, it's a full workout of the vehicle, but for the better part, it's doing what it's meant to do. I'm going to end the video here, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully this has given you a little bit of an insight as to, I guess, the performance of the Traxxas TRX4. No matter what body is on top of it, whether it's the Lexan body that comes with it, or whether you change it into a hard body, whatever you decide to do with your TRX4, they are a very capable vehicle. In fact, out of all the rigs I've driven, it's probably one that I would recommend to any newcomer to the hobby. When all that's said and done, yes, my favorite really does have to go to the RC four-wheel drive Grande 2, mainly because of its simplicity and because of the scale rig, because of how scale it is. But the TRX4, I guess, in general, has to be my second most favorite because of the way it just drives. Like, you just cannot fail with it. And a lot of, you know, veteran users out there, a lot of veteran crawlers out there would probably disagree with me. They'll probably say no, an Axial SCX-10-2 or an Axial SCX-10 would be their pick of the bunch. But yeah, I've driven an SCX-10, and you know, I'd liken them to an RC four-wheel drive Grande 2. Really, it's almost no difference. They're both, you know, fully locked diffs, single speed transmission, so you don't really gain anything from having an SCX-10 versus a Grande 2, apart from the fact that the SCX-10 has probably more body options on it, whereas the Grande 2, you're not really stuck with the Defender and Cruiser, but you know, they're just more limited. But in saying that, I guess it's every man for himself when it comes to their opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion as much as you're entitled to yours, and just like I'm not forcing you to watch my video, I also don't force you to like what I like. So at the end of the day, hopefully you guys know which way you're going to go, if especially if it's the case of choosing your first rig, as this channel really is basically for those that are new to this rig. So I'd like to, you know, make it known. Just if you got any questions, let me know. So until the next time, guys, stay safe, peace out.